So we kind of talked about it earlier too, but some things that'll help you be more efficient in the pool. And we're talking specifically assessment and selection now. And you mentioned treading. I think something that people don't understand is you're never touching the bottom of the pool. Like at assessment and selection, there's very few times where touching the bottom of the pool is okay, like during any of these things. And if you can't tread and you can't sit on the top of the water and efficiently just sit there while even an instructor talks to you, and I know I would do it. I know Trent does it because Trent is a sadomasochist, but I would just talk to students that were having a hard time treading, and I would have like extended conversations. One, because I like to hear myself talk, but two is because you can watch them during the course of that 30 seconds, that minute and a half, just become more and more tired from treading. How did you learn those treading skills? Like you said, you were never familiar with the egg beater before, and we agree that it's a skill that you really need to have, right? So how did you teach yourself? Did you learn, at school, or how'd you overcome that challenge?
So you start off with the egg beater, right? Where they say, just move your feet counterclockwise or opposite, oscillating directions, and kind of keep your femurs stable or in the same spot. That didn't really work for me, especially being, 205 pounds at the time. I was like a rock. So what I had to do is I had to, the same concept applies to your arms when you're swimming. I had to use my entire leg and kind of figure out a weird way to bring my heels up to my butt, kind of internally rotate my leg out from my hip, and then engage my whole leg to come all the way down and do that. And it was hours and hours and hours of practice after work, at prep. All you want to do is go home because you're tired from working out with students all day and being on the pool deck coaching in the hot Texas sun. And, it just takes commitment on working at it. And, don't get frustrated. You're going to get frustrated, but not to. And, you will eventually figure it out. And if worse comes to worse, get really good at the scissor kick.
Just try harder. If you can't do it efficiently, then your effort needs to go through the roof.
But it's a brick wall, and if you can't, blow through it, you better do your best to push that brick wall down.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of pushing things down, I think there's a few times that things in the pool have started to make sense to me, right? And one of them was when you explained underwaters to me, but that also clicked into the treading, where are you pushing directionally in the water with your entire leg? Like where's that water going? Because I think we all have a tendency, or at least I have a tendency to learn a technique and initially not think about why that technique works in the beginning until I figure it out, right? And then once it's explained to me, like, oh, you're pushing the water this direction and this direction, that keeps you, up above the water. So I think thinking those things through, and I think one of the things that we all have is we've spent time watching people in the pool. So I would say if you're out there training, get a training buddy or go out there with your development group and spend a little bit of time watching people. I think that's incredibly helpful, is because you can see the mistakes that they're making. And as you try to help them fix their mistakes and shore up their weaknesses, and maybe I'm wrong, but as an instructor or cadre member, that definitely helps me out is watching other people, try, struggle, and then figure out the process together and why all these things work or don't work.
Yeah, absolutely. Watching other people, having a buddy there with you. Even I think one thing that helped me a lot was like having someone film you, right? Because it happens in weightlifting all the time, right? You think you're doing something, you're trying to do a snatch or a clean or something, and you're like, yeah, I'm doing that. Like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. And then you get filmed, and you're like, oh, my arm is way over here. My knees aren't shooting out far, something like that. That happens a lot with treading, especially in the water, because it's not everybody's like comfortable medium to be in, So filming yourself, seeing what you're doing, knowing that if you need to stay up, you need to push water down instead of out, because all you're doing is wasting energy. Everything in the pool is about being efficient.
Yeah, and I think that the rhythm thing also helps. I remember the first time that it clicked in my head for just regular surface swimming freestyle is when I realized that it's just exercise, and the same type of rhythm that I get while I'm running, I can achieve that rhythm. Like we already talked about it a little bit, but these are just like the little switches that have clicked in my head over the years, is when I realized that swimming it's just like running. It's just exercise. And as soon as you get that rhythm and that efficiency down, it becomes way less scary. You overcome that fight or flight mentality, or that system in your head. As soon as you put your face in the water, that freaks out and says, I'm going to die if I don't keep moving. And so you start thrashing. But like, I think once I overcame that and flipped that switch and said, this is just exercise, and stayed calm about it, everything kind of fell into place, which led to, further and further success, and allowing me to think about why I'm doing things instead of just blindly doing things and hoping that I'm successful.
Right. Yeah. 100%. I mean, people have been swimming for thousands of years. Like, you're not going to die. It's okay. Just you're in 4 feet deep pool, like, you'll be all right.
Yeah. Somebody's going to pull you out for sure.